At 55, Brett Favre is finally speaking up about the allegations that have turned his legendary career into a story of scandal and shame. The horrible addiction that once defined his struggles now seems minor compared to the massive controversy he faces today. What started as a tale of athletic triumph has become one of the biggest fraud cases in Mississippi history, and the details are worse than anyone imagined. Brett Favre's name is now forever linked to the Mississippi Temporary Assistance for Needy Families welfare fraud scandal. This is the state's largest public fraud case in decades, and Favre sits right at the center of it. While he hasn't been arrested or criminally charged, he is a defendant in a major civil lawsuit. The Mississippi Department of Human Services is coming after him hard, seeking to recover at least $7 million in misspent federal funds. These weren't just any funds. This was money meant for the poorest families in the poorest state in America. Money that was supposed to help people eat and survive was allegedly diverted to projects that benefited Favre personally. The scandal involves around $77 to $94 million in welfare funds that were misused between 2016 and 2019. The money was funneled through nonprofit organizations, and key figures like Nancy New and John Davis have already pleaded guilty to criminal charges. But Favre, he's fighting this in civil court, and the evidence against him keeps piling up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. What do you think about athletes using their fame this way? Let us know your thoughts. One of the biggest allegations involves a volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi. This is Favre's alma mater, and his daughter was playing volleyball there at the time. State attorneys say Favre was an aggressive advocate for building this new facility.
And he allegedly helped channel about $5 million in welfare money to make it happen. Text messages released during the investigation show Favre coordinating the whole thing. He even reached out to the then governor, Phil Bryant, asking for help to get the project funded. This wasn't some innocent donation. This was welfare money meant for struggling families, being redirected to build a sports facility for a college team. Then there's the biotech investment. Favre was an investor in a pharmaceutical company called Prevacus, which was working on concussion treatments. According to state attorneys, Favre secured between $1.7 and $2 million in welfare funds for this company. Again, this was public money meant to help people in poverty, not to fund private business investments. The third major allegation is perhaps the most straightforward. The Mississippi State Auditor's Office found that Favre Enterprises received $1.1 million for motivational speeches that he never actually gave. The payments came in two chunks: $500,000 in December 2017 and $600,000 in June 2018. Favre claims he didn't know the money came from welfare funds, but he eventually paid back the full $1.1 million. He made a payment in May 2020 and paid the rest in October 2021. But even after repaying the principal, State Auditor Shad White sued him again in early 2024 for $729,000 in statutory interest. The most damning piece of evidence is a text message from August 2017. Favre allegedly messaged Nancy New, the nonprofit director who facilitated the payments, asking if there was any way the media could find out where the money came from and how much it was.
Nancy reassured him that the information was never publicized and that Governor Phil Bryant was on board with everything. This one message destroys Favre's entire defense. If he really didn't know the money came from welfare funds, why would he be so concerned about the media finding out? Why would he need that level of secrecy? A legitimate payment for motivational speeches wouldn't require hiding the source or amount from journalists. It suggests a conscious awareness that something was wrong with this arrangement. After Favre received his first major payment in December 2017, he texted Nancy New again, saying that Santa came today and dropped some money off, thanking her, and saying they needed to set up the promo soon. The casual tone makes it sound like he was celebrating a windfall, not receiving payment for legitimate work. Even more troubling is the involvement of high-level political figures. Todd Reeves, the brother of Governor Tate Reeves, helped Favre coordinate the repayment of the $1.1 million in 2020. He
He communicated directly with the state auditor's office about how the repayment check should be written. This reveals how deeply connected Favre was to Mississippi's political elite. But the Mississippi welfare scandal isn't Favre's first rodeo with controversy. Back in 2008, when he was playing for the New York Jets, allegations surfaced that he sent inappropriate messages and photos to Jen Sturger, a game day employee for the team. The allegations were first broken by Deadspin, and the NFL launched an investigation. After a long investigation, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell fined Favre $50,000. But here's the key detail. The fine wasn't because the NFL found proof of workplace misconduct. It was because Favre demonstrated a failure to cooperate with the investigation in a forthcoming manner. The commissioner found that Favre was not candid in several respects,
which dragged out the review process. The NFL even said that if they had proven a clear violation, the punishment would have been much worse, likely including a suspension. This established a pattern that would repeat itself. When faced with serious allegations, Favre's strategy was to obstruct the inquiry and accept a lesser penalty for procedural failures, rather than being transparent. The impact on Jen Sturger was severe. She later revealed that the public attention caused serious trauma for her family. Her mother and sister faced awkward confrontations and inappropriate comments about being associated with the Favre girl. Before all of this, Favre was known for a different kind of struggle. In the mid-1990s, he battled a serious addiction to painkillers, specifically Vicodin. His dependency became public after he suffered a seizure during a hospital visit in 1996. Injuries from his playing career caused his opioid use to escalate rapidly. He once described taking 20 of the supposedly non-addictive pills at once before finally feeling a buzz, realizing he had relapsed. After the public disclosure, Favre entered a treatment center, and when he returned to the league, he dramatically led the Green Bay Packers to a Super Bowl victory that same year. But the path to sobriety wasn't simple. While most people thought Favre went through one major period of rehabilitation, he later revealed that he entered rehab 3 separate times during his time with the Packers. 2 of those visits were never publicized. He recalled waking up during an MVP season with his first thought being how to get more pills. After getting sober from prescription pills in 1996, he went back to rehab in 1998, this time exclusively for alcohol addiction. He had previously denied having a problem with alcohol, even though nurses identified it as his gateway drug. Favre says he has been sober from alcohol since 1998. After his playing career ended, Favre became an informal advocate for mental health and substance abuse awareness in sports. He openly discussed how his painkiller addiction could have killed him, and revealed that he considered suicide during his struggle. This honesty earned him respect and sympathy from fans who saw him as a fighter. Then came September 2024. During his congressional testimony about welfare reform, Favre publicly revealed that he had recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He connected this diagnosis to his interest in Prevacus, the concussion treatment company involved in the welfare scheme. He said he lost his investment in the company that he thought would help others. By announcing a severe personal health diagnosis during testimony about a major financial scandal, Favre tried to shift the public conversation away from fraud and toward a sympathetic narrative about athletic sacrifice. This was a sophisticated crisis communication strategy designed to evoke public empathy based on his hero status and the tragic health consequences of his football career. But there's more. The welfare scandal also brought intense scrutiny to Favre's personal charity, Favre for Hope. The foundation's stated mission is to support underserved and disabled children and breast cancer patients. But tax records revealed that Favre for Hope funneled more than $130,000 to the University of Southern Mississippi Athletic Foundation between 2018 and 2020. The Athletic Foundation received significantly more from Favre for Hope than any other charitable organization, which typically got no more than $11,000. A charity dedicated to helping vulnerable populations was diverting large sums to a college athletic facility, the same facility that was allegedly benefiting from welfare fraud.
Ethics experts said this demonstrates that those running the organization were not fulfilling their obligation to suspend donations according to the nonprofit's stated mission. The Mississippi welfare scandal continues to generate legal action and intense scrutiny. The civil lawsuit filed by the Mississippi Department of Human Services remains active. In 2023, the Mississippi Supreme Court denied Favre's petition to be removed as a defendant, confirming that he would remain in the legal crosshairs. He has mounted an aggressive legal defense, even challenging a judge's order to remove one of his legal representatives from the case. Favre didn't just sit back and take the criticism. In 2023, he filed a defamation lawsuit against State Auditor Shad White. The suit targets about 15 statements White made to media outlets like CNN and ESPN, as well as statements in White's book. In May 2025, the Mississippi Supreme Court denied White's appeal to dismiss the lawsuit, allowing Favre's defamation claim to proceed. This is part of Favre's strategy to aggressively contest the public narrative and silence a primary critic through litigation. The welfare fraud allegations have caused massive and possibly permanent damage to Favre's public image. Public relations analysts describe his reputation as being in crisis right now. The welfare scandal, particularly the theme of taking from the poorest people in the poorest state, has completely overshadowed his athletic achievements. Favre's media appearances were reportedly put on hold when the scandal links became public. While he's attempting a gradual return to media work and continues to charge $400 per personalized video message on Cameo, his commercial value remains severely compromised by ongoing legal battles. The comparison between Favre's responses to different crises tells the whole story. During the Jen Sturger allegations,
He was fined for failure to cooperate. In the Mississippi welfare scandal, he claimed ignorance of the fund source, sought media concealment, and filed a defamation suit. The pattern is crystal clear. So before you go, make sure you subscribe to stay updated on stories like this. And let us know in the comments what you think Favre's legacy will ultimately be. Will history remember the champion or the scandal? Brett Favre's legacy is now forever changed. The narrative of the resilient athlete overcoming addiction has been completely eclipsed by the severity of the Mississippi welfare scandal. The complexity and scale of this case, focusing on money meant for the state's poorest families, ensures this will be the defining crisis of his post-football career. The evidence suggesting he consciously tried to conceal the source of funds, combined with the ethical breach involving his own charity, shows his involvement was systematic, not accidental. No amount of legal maneuvering or sympathetic health revelations can erase the fundamental accusation at the heart of this scandal. His legacy will remain significantly tarnished by his association with Mississippi's largest public fraud case, and the athletic accomplishments that once defined him will forever be shadowed by these allegations.